Hi, everybody.
Hello, I'm Ryan.
I'm Bethany.
And we are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
And today we'll be talking about Downforce. This is designed by Wolfgang Kramer, and it is published by Restoration Games.
Restoration Games, if you're familiar with them, they like to take older games, refurbish them, make them new, add newer mechanisms that are more modern, give them modern art, modern feelings, all that kind of stuff. So this has been through a million different iterations, and so now the newest one is Downforce. There's a couple different versions even of this own game. This is the kind of like the mass market edition. But in this game, basically, you have a race going on, but you are the owner of a race car team, but your goal is not necessarily to win. Your goal is just to make the most amount of money. So whether that means betting on someone, whether that means bidding the least on your cars, buying them for cheap, or whether that means flat out winning, or any combination of that, however you can make the money works for you. All right, you guys, I'm going to give you a quick overview of how to play. All right, here's our setup for Downforce. We've got 6 cars in play. We've got 6 cards for them all as well. At the beginning of the game, what we're going to do is we're going to draft or even auction for these different cars. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 6 of these cars, these colors, and what we're going to do is we're also going to mix them up and pair them up with these different abilities. There's all different abilities that you're going to get paired up with. So what we're going to do is we're going to randomly draw some combination. So let's say we have this. We have the black car with the competitive power. This particular one says, after another player plays a speed 8 card and finishes moving, you may move one of your cars 2 spaces. All right, so we're going to lay that out there, and everyone's going to get a chance to bid on that. When you bid on a car, what you're basically doing is you're going to take one of the cards from your hands, and you're going to place it down, and you're going to reveal it. Whatever that color's number is on that card is what you're going to be bidding. So in this case, if I wanted to bid on the black car, and I played this card, I would be bidding $2 million. If I were to be the winner, on the side over here, if I were the winner of the black car, I'd mark $2 million down on the side of the scorecard there. What's interesting is every player needs to have at least 1 car, but if you have less than 6 players, everyone's going to get a chance to get more than 1 car. Now that obviously means you're going to have to pay for it, and it's going to be paying for it in dollars, which is the victory points in this game, but you're going to be able to get multiple cars, and hopefully it might help your chances of winning. But if you do win multiple cars, you're only going to be able to keep one of those special abilities, but it will apply to all the vehicles that you own. Now that everyone has auctioned off their cars, now what we're going to do is we're going to start playing some cards. So here's what would be an example of a hand of cards. What we would do is we would play one of them and resolve it however we wanted to. All right, so this one, we're going to go from top to bottom. Let's say we play this one. We're going to move the red car 6 spaces. We're going to move the green car 5 spaces. You can move diagonally. The black's going to go 4. Looks like orange is 3. Yellow's 2. And blue is 1. That's really all there is to a turn. We're going to keep on playing cards in a row, going around the circle, until one of the cars reaches that yellow marker over there. When that happens, what we're all going to do collectively is we're going to secretly bid on who we think the winner of the game is going to be. So over here, the bet number 1, we're going to choose which car we think is in the best position to win the game, even if it's not one of our own. The goal here is to win the most amount of money. That can be from either bidding on cars correctly or having your own car score well, or a combination of both. So for instance, if we thought the orange car was going to do really well, we would mark an X there on the orange car for that bet 1. All right, so then we're going to keep on doing it again. We're going to keep on racing until we get to the next yellow line. Then we're going to get a chance to bid again. And the further on we go in the race, we have these bottleneck areas as well. Those are going to be an opportunity for people to kind of catch up a little bit, because there's going to be some bottlenecks where people are stuck and you can't pass people unless you have certain special abilities. All right, then once we get to this third and final yellow bar over there, we're going to do our third and final bet. Then at that point, we're just going to keep on playing cards until all 6 cars have finished the race. At that point, what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our scorecard, and we're going to see how well we did. Did we bet on the right things? So over here, we're going to get our racing total, which is how fast the cars we actually owned are. So if we owned the car that got first place, we'd get a bonus of $12 million. If we owned the car that got fourth place, we'd get $4 million, something like that. Then we would add in what we got from our bets. So we'd go to this chart, see if the cars that we bet on got either first, second, or third place. We would check that chart. We would add in the amount of money that we got there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to subtract the auction total. Whatever we paid for those cars, we're going to subtract that off over here. And then the total winnings at the bottom here, that's your final amount of money, and that's your actual score. And whoever has the most amount of money wins the game. You're only going to play 1 lap. However, this board is double-sided. So if you wanted to see a different experience, you can flip this board over, and it's a little bit more of a challenging map, and you can play a whole different game that way.
It's kind of fun in the beginning because nobody knows what's happening. Like, the cars are set up, and you know that if you can get one of those, that car in the first spot, then you get to go first. But besides that, nobody knows what's happening. Nobody knows what anybody else has. Nobody knows anything. So when you're bidding on these cars, you're just kind of like willy-nillying it.
What power do I like the most?
Yeah,
What's your favorite color?
It doesn't even, I mean, it matters based on what you have in your hand, and you're doing the best that you can do. But when it comes to everybody else, we're all like starting with nothing. And so it's kind of fun when you're bidding in the beginning because you have no idea why somebody would want a certain car.
I like that in some racing games, you know, they have this, you can spin out or you can burn out or you have to go backwards or you can crash into each other. This is much more just kind of just forward racing. Every car that you get that plays just advances, preferably you with your cars as well as everybody else as well, you know. So if you play a card that has your colors plus somebody else's, everything's just moving forward. You're constantly just moving forward. You're progressing towards the end of the game with every single card that you play, which makes the pace of the game, you're just moving. Yeah. Everything's just constantly growing. There's no, like, besides you're going to get to those lines, the betting, besides that, you're just going around in a circle. It's just really, really fast.
And then you have those powers that everybody gets, and so that's kind of cool too because they're pretty they're pretty equal. I feel like every time we played, it wasn't like one was super overpowered and you needed to make sure to bid get that one card because if you get that card, you're gonna win regardless. I didn't feel like that when I was playing the game. I felt like all of the power up cards, the special ability cards were pretty equal.
And also, I will say that there's two sides to this map. So if you ever get bored with the one side of the map, the kind of what I call the base map, flip it over. The other one it's a little bit more challenging. There's more bottlenecks. There's more of those single track roads, you know, where nobody can get past you. But that's the more challenging one of the two. Once you're familiar with that, flip it over. You're going to get a lot more longevity out of the game, so that we can kind of. It almost feels like a different game, you know, because it's just more variety.
So this game, like Ryan said, should go like this, but depending on who you play with, it can get stalled out really easily. If somebody had a plan of what they wanted to do and there's a bottleneck so they can't move the car that they want to move and they don't know what to do, and it's just like race faster.
Yes,
when a game is fast paced, you have to play like that, and if you play with somebody that's not like that, it's going to be really frustrating for everybody involved.
It can also be a little frustrating, too, when you can't pull off what you need to do, you know. Yeah. It's a race. It's supposed to be silly, chaotic. It's not a long game. It doesn't overstay its welcome or anything like that. So if you are playing and you lose, it's fine. Play it again. But there is a little bit of a frustration point when you are trying to pull off. You've been waiting to play this awesome card, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, now I'm stuck behind somebody. I can't do anything about it. That's kind of a bummer. I actually kind of have to waste my turn just getting people out of my way, helping them by getting them out of my way.
So overall, there is a fun factor that needs to be in every game you play. Like, sometimes if the fun factor is great, you can overlook some things that aren't. But sometimes if the fun factor isn't there, it doesn't matter how great something can be, the fun factor isn't there. And that was me for this game. The fun factor wasn't there. I wasn't enjoying it when we were playing it. I could see what was going to happen before it happened. Like, you kind of, not that you know, because everything can change depending on the cards that people have, but it was like once the first 2 or 3 cards ended, it was kind of like you still had to keep playing even though the game was over. I just did not have fun playing this game.
And I played this game with you know, the lower player count, like 2 or 3 players. I've also played at the higher count, like 5 or 6, and it works both ways. I think it makes it's less confusing when you have just one car that you own, although it is nice to have a backup plan, give you something to do when you're turning when you have multiple cars. But man, then you end up paying a lot for auctions, and it's kind of a weird balance. But it does balance itself out in that way. For me, if I had to choose, I would choose probably the middle player counts. You know, where if you want to have multiple cars, you can. If you want to just have the one car, you can. For me, this game is, I don't like racing games anyways. This is not a genre that I gravitate towards. That's true. I don't like racing games. For what it is, this goes very quickly. I think it's a great production. It has a cool toy factor to it with the cars. But I'm not picking this one off the shelf, not because it's a bad game, but because I don't like racing games. And if I had to choose a racing games, there are a couple other ones that I'd choose over this one. Even if for its simplicity and its streamlinedness, just not for me.
Yay! Everybody, thank you so much for watching. If you want to hear more of stuff like this, then make sure to subscribe so you can see our videos as they come out. And if you enjoyed what you watched, consider leaving us a tip. There is a link down below on how to do that. Until then, you can find us in all of these places.
You guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.